The reason your artwork looks awful, even when you got a great model, comes down to two things. Number one, how you present it. And number two, your creative decisions. Most people underestimate these two, and that is exactly why their render looks flat, boring, and unprofessional. But if you don't believe me, perfect. Because today I'm gonna prove it. This is my ultimate rendering guide for beginners. And I'm going to take you straight into my actual artwork setup, breaking down everything I do and show you how to create clean cinematic render. And by the way, this guide is completely free, so if you get even a single useful insight from it, just do me a favor, drop a like. It helps more than you think. Alright, let's jump into Blender. Here we are in Blender. First, let me just walk you through my entire setup, and then we can just start focusing on how to improve your creativity and where you can get these ideas and etc. etc. So when you look at this, it might look silly, but when I zoom in, you can see the entire setup. I hope you can see it. Let me just turn off the shit for now. It's really hard to navigate. There we go. Now this is my entire setup, and I use add-on to create this industrial stairs. So I just show you how I did that. But first, let me just break down the design. So when I just begin with the placement, I don't really place these all details. I just make it really simple. So let me just turn off the setup, and this is how I just place my object. So when I press 0, you can see the placement. So it is a bottom angle shot, and I set the focal length is about 88 millimeters. So you may be wonder why you just set this to 88, why you can't switch to 120 or 200. The reason is because if I increase the focal length to about 200 for something, I say, and when I try to push this camera back, you can see the overlapping because the floor is messing up. So that is why I just set the focal length to 88, which gives me a better result. And the placement is really important because if I place my, let me just unlock the camera. If I place my camera like this, it don't really create that impact. Still, it's going to look massive and interesting, but it don't create that impact. You know what I mean? But when I just make the camera moves kind of like this bottom, it creates a more dramatic look. That is the camera placement trick. So if you want to make your subject looks more big and visually massive and terrifying, you need to place a camera like kind of like this bottom angle. And next, we just start to focusing on the subject. So our subject is placed at the center. You can see this is our full focus. And on the sides, we have an empty space, and I just leave this for the maybe a buildings or whatever. I don't really have the idea. So I just have a thought about we build something later. Now let's talk about the setup. So for the floor, I don't leave it empty. You can see the planes on the floor. So these are not planes, these are decals. Let me just go to the render view so you can see how it looks. I hope you can see the details. So these are all the decals which makes the floor look more industrial. Let me just show you with a floor so you can see how it looks. Let me take this floor, isolate it, then switch to viewport shading. This is how it looks. So when you switch to the camera view, you can barely see those details, but yeah, it adds some detail to the floor. Now let's go back to the viewport. And most people are wondering about how you create this industrial stairs. So I don't really waste time on building this and modeling this. So what I did was I grabbed the add-on which is called Industrial Structure Generator. By the way, it's not an add-on. I think it's a geometry node. So what it did was it just gives you a small basic kind of a railing system. Then you have to extrude it to shape it however you like. So how it works was you go to the edit mode, then you can select any one of this edge and press E. So when you extrude it, you can see that it generates the railing system. So this is how it works. I just did some shape like this and place it at the side view. Then I mirror the same object to the other side, and it does not create the basement, so I just add a cube to fill the area. Then I did the same setup for the back, so you can see we have a stairs with some random extrusion, I just place that at the back, and when I look from the camera view, it's kind of gives me the more depth angle or a long industrial place or something like that. Let's talk about the lamp. So this comes with the industrial structure generator. So once you open the file, you will get this lamp. I just add array modifier to this and place it at the left and also place it at the right. It also comes with emissions, so that creates a more interesting look. Now let's talk about why I add this big giant cylinder at the top. So it's just for the infinite backdrop. You may be questioning like why you can't use a simple plane and use that as an infinite backdrop. Yes, technically you can do that, but if I like to change my mind and I like to place my camera like this, I have to rotate it and keep adjusting it. So I don't really want to do that. And the material is really simple. It's just a black color with the default roughness, I guess. Yeah, I increased the roughness to 7.5. This gives me a black backdrop with no reflection. Now let's talk about the lighting. First, we have a big light at the top. So this is a spotlight and I set the power to around 18,000, which is really massive. So this is what gives us the foggy effect. So let me just go to the camera view. So in my rendering, the fog intensity is really high at this level. The fog is really high and we get the smoky green environment. And from this line, it started to decreasing. So it's fading out and no fog. It's really clean and less smoky area. So how we get this effect is from the spotlight and from the volumetric. So for the smoke effect, I use a simple cube. You maybe wonder why it kind of looks like wireframed. I just set it up to that type. So let me just go to the visibility and yeah, here we have the controller. So if I switch to texture, you can see the cube, but I don't want to affect my scene. So I just set this to wireframe. Now let's see the material for this volumetric. Let me just open a new panel on the side, switch to shader editor, and I just add a principal volume and connect it to the material output. I set the colors to something like a greenish and I set the density to around 0.009 and the anisotropy to 0.68. So it's really basic. You don't really have to plug in noise, color ramp and all the silly setup. This is more than enough for creating that fog effect. Now let's talk about the main lighting. This one is a key light, so I just placed at the left because our model is slightly rotated on the left, so we want to brighten this area. So this area gives more exposure. And if I darken this area, there is no point of this render. So this area light gives me the 60% of the brightness. And I set this area light power to around 800. Then we have rim light, which is a backlight. So this gives us a nice outline to the backside, so that way the model doesn't blend with the background. And also this gives us some nice brightness on the back, so it kind of makes it look more powerful. And then we have a supporting light on the right. So this helps us to prevent those darkness and balancing out the lighting. And for the character, I don't really place any lighting for him. I just leave it. The default light is going to give this the brightness to him. So my initial focus is on this mech, because if I just make the character looks brighter, then the mech is going to be less powerful. On the floor, I just place some metal rods in random position. So you can use any kind of industrial props here. So like a craft box or vehicle or whatever to enhance the realism. Yeah, it's just about your creativity. Next, talk about the most important part of this artwork. It's character placement. So this character is going to be the key point of our artwork, because this model is going to represent the size of our model. And not only that, this is the storytelling of our part. Without this character, the scene becomes meaningless. There is no story in it and the subject becomes less attractive. So you have to find the best quality human model. You don't want to place a Tom and Jerry or a Spider-Man here, because that is going to ruin your artwork. You have to place a meaningful character. For example, in this scene, I place a compact engineer. So it's kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? So the character model also plays a huge role in your artwork. So because that is what tells the story to your artwork. So find a good one and place it in your scene. So that is my full rendering setup. So it's not really that complex. It's all about the camera placement, the volumetric and the props. So that's all it takes. So now let's talk about the fundamentals of creating a cinematic render. This section is going to look simple, just text and images. If you pay attention, you'll learn more here than any random YouTube tutorial. So stay with me or you miss the important lesson. First, where you get the ideas. I'll be honest with you. The smartest place to start is movie posters, because those designers are master at one thing: grabbing attention and making anything look cinematic. For example, I use an Ant-Man poster as an inspiration for my mech design. I don't even know if it's a fan-made or official. I just love the concept and the presentation, so I just borrow the idea and apply it in my artwork. That's how creativity works. You don't start from zero. In the beginning, it's tough to create everything from imagination. So start with the existing composition. Learn the logic, then evolve your own style later. Next, presentation. Before you even open Blender, understand what you need for a scene. You don't have to model every single props by yourself. Use Kitbash, use free models, or use anything that requires for your artwork. And please, don't ask me silly questions like where can I find them. If you can use Blender, you can use AI. Now, a personal tip. Use the cinematic scene as your cover art or thumbnail. Once people click and appreciate your creativity, then you can show them your simpler background render. This does two things. First, it makes your portfolio look professional. Next, it helps to land more clients because they instantly understand your visual storytelling and designing skill. So this is how you can stand out. And by the way, texturing also plays a huge role in your final render. You can have the best model, the best composition, the best lighting, but if your texturing is weak, everything falls apart. So if you don't want to struggle with that part, just use my add-on MatricX. It handles the entire texturing workflow for you. Clean materials, automatic imperfections, and professional grade result. So you can focus on the creative side. Watch this video to see exactly how it works and have a great day.